All right, we need everybody to go to your holy tablets. We're going to go to chapter 2, tablet 1. We're going to start with verse 9, but not right this very instant. I'd like to know who else has a spiritual experience they'd like to share with the rest of the class this evening. These are very serious times, sometimes trying times, very eventful and very meaningful times.
Well, I had one last night about 20 minutes into me sleeping. It was like a cat had got on my back and it tried to smuggle my face, right? And I was struggling trying to wrestle it off me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was real crazy. After I got it off me, I felt it was a lot of cotton in my mouth. It was crazy, man.
You felt it was a lot of what? Is it tightening you said in your mouth?
I felt like it was like some fur balls in my throat or something. After I wrestled it off.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want you to understand one thing, son. We all create our own reality. And you have to understand that energy returns to the source of energy. Regardless of what kind of energy it is, if it's negative or positive energy, it returns to the source of energy, right? So, a lot of times, you could be, because you're influenced by the atmosphere that you're in society, that we could, when you listen to the news and you hear other people speaking in the workplace, at school, and on your job, it's like taking secondhand smoke. It still has an effect on you. When you say, well, I don't really watch the news, I don't really watch negative things, I'm not around negative people, you can't avoid negative people. They come in many forms. And as far as negative influences, you have satellite TV. You follow me? You have cell phones. The example I like to give is you're sitting in your house and you have two neighbors on either side of your house, and they get into an argument. I'll kill you, so-and-so, this, that, and the other. Now, those waves, do you think when they go through your wall to reach one another, do you think they go around you or through you?
Through.
Exactly. They affect you negatively. You follow me?
Yeah.
When you turn on your TV, regardless of day or night, it comes on instantly, doesn't it? And if you have cable, you have hundreds of different channels you can choose from. All the programming is not positive. Well, the fact that you can turn it on any time of day or night 24/7 means that they're transmitting 24/7. You follow? And like those cell phone waves, they don't go around you because your brain is a transmitter and receiver. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's the most etheric organ you have in your body. If it comes outside of the skull, it'll just lay there helplessly. The two halves will separate. There's no muscle, bone, sinew. There's nothing in it to hold it together. It's almost 100% water. And water's a great conductor. But what it is a transmitter-receiver. You follow?
Mm.
And it doesn't edit out what it receives. Or, you hope what it does what it transmits, but not what it receives. So you have to learn to develop a psychic defense. A psychic self-defense, right? And the way that you do that, the approach would not be that you want to get rid of darkness if that's what the child is afraid of. So what you have to learn how to do is turn on the light. Because it accomplishes two things. When the light comes on, what happens to the dark automatically?
It goes away.
Exactly. And the fear with it. At the same time, you got the child focusing on light rather than darkness. So my point is that we don't want to learn how to issue evil or get rid of or reject or block evil. But to think about positive things all the time. And these packages that I send you all, I'll send you lots of DVDs and CDs that you can play all night in your car or when you walk. And as long as the light is on, the darkness can't penetrate. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right. So you can't stop. Let me be clear. You can't stop negative programming. But you do have the power to, in effect, turn on positive programming all day and night to counteract it. That's your only psychic self-defense against the time and the place that we're in. you have to remember that this is the armpit of creation. I'm serious about that. So all throughout the cosmos, and all these vast and variegated galaxies and universes and on parallel universes and different planes of existence, all these different worlds and times, there have always been people that are negative, and they've been rejected by their societies. And they were cast out of the heavens, all of the heavens at one time, and earth itself is where they were cast down. This is a penitentiary for wayward angels. You know? So you all, somebody look up the Bible. I mean, you can find out that all the fallen angels, they were cast down to where? Let me hear some people say that they know.
Earth.
Exactly.
They're cast down here.
So where the young was, please read your phone. So you know where they are. These are the fallen angels. And these people are running around pointing the fingers. It's him over there, it's her, it's this one, it's that one. But you know, the vampire can't see his own reflection. You know where they don't look? They never look in the mirror. You see, that's the problem at the root of the difficulty. That is the difficulty at the root of the problem. Nobody's the devil here, you follow me? Everybody in penitentiary is innocent. I hope you can hear me with your good ear, because this is a serious lesson tonight. But my job and mission is to help you all make that journey within, recenter yourselves on what you actually are. You really are the all, and as such, you are God's. If you just forget about what it is you're projecting, or you've been programmed to believe, you follow the only reality is divine love. Everything else is mere illusion. This is what you created in your mind. It's all in your mind. You have to change your mind and your thoughts, because the things that you look at will never change until you change the way that you look at things. Are you following me?
Yes.
So stop looking for the devil outside of you and pointing at this group or this individual, and that's where the problem is coming from. When in reality, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Okay? And this is something you should also know. There's only one devil that can get you to hell, and which one is that?
You.
Your own devil. That's the only one that can get you to hell. Okay? If you could just focus on those realities, you might get a lot further and a lot faster. I'm not saying it's not a difficult thing to rationalize or realize, but nobody said this thing was easy. But it is doable. All right. Now, I'll have some of you learned students tell me. Let's go to how do we get out of here, right? How do we get back to our long home? How do we get back to heaven? Before time get beyond repair. How do we stop these cats and things from grabbing us in the dark and tormenting us and all these negative energies and thoughts from our listeners, okay? Now, if you can go to Holy Tablets, chapter 2, tablet 1, verse 9, it states, and I want you to listen so that if you have questions, we can throw some light on it. You must know that in the lunar logging of the 5th point in the month of May, and everybody that's been with me for years, you know when I was taken up the last time, right? 3/26/13. All right, that's significant. Remember that date. You must know that in the lunar logging of the 5th point in the month of May, when the planet called Gaia, a living organism, a living organism, also spelled Gaea, positions itself in the location of revolution of the planet called Earth in the year 2000 AD of the Gregorian calendar, and the gate, and what you refer to as heaven, and this great vortex went opened in 2003. Of course, this was written before 2003. 2003 of the Gregorian calendar. And the planets will have realigned themselves in the day of 5/5/2000 the great Garubat cherubims will be excused. They will be disarmed, won't be any more power to hold back the truth. And their flaming sword shall sway from the tree of eternal life. That means it's time for you to enter. And it shall open once again the throne of Anu. This will be the alignment of the major planets and the mothership Nibiru, whose diameter is 63,408 miles. Well, the diameter of Earth is roughly 7,000 miles. You do the math. This craft is 63,408 miles and can make itself bigger or smaller. We'll be nearing your solar system and waiting on the other side of the asteroid belt. This is all real. That might sound like fiction to you, but I'm a witness, and I will stand here to bear witness to this reality. On the other side of the asteroid belt, which is the necklace of the firmament beneath the firmaments, for the time which will be in the lunar logging of the 12th point in the month of August, when the planet called Earth positions itself in the location of its own revolution in the year 2003 AD. Now, why are we going to increments of 10? Because in 1943, during the Philadelphia experiment, there was a space-time rift continuum opened up, and then the vortex started opening up rhythmically every 10 years. In other words, 1943, 1953, 63, on 2013, and so what year is it now, family?
23.
That means the vortex opens up this year. That's the significance of the time. Are you following me? You're not here a second too soon. And I tell you, don't leave. When this vortex will reopen, it's 2013, I know because I was taken up then too, along with the one you call Malachi. It is then that the Shams passenger craft will reach the planet Earth, coming forth to you for the rebirth of the elite few, the 144,000, from the moon base, forming the six-pointed star and crescent moon in the sky as your sign. I saw that also in Brooklyn in 1981 and 83. On the bill, you had 400 species broken up into three sets of 144,000. You have the Agigi, and those are the ones that are Anunnaki that revolve around the Earth on orbital platforms. Of the 210 that were cast down, only 10 went back, but there was 100. There was really 310. There was 100 that maintained the orbital platforms, and they were only spiritual. And they only come down to possess people. These are the ones that are troubling you, basically, in your sleep, and me even in the daytime. In the doctor's offices, for example, I was in the office with Dr. Patrice Body. Very negative little witch or whatever it is, however you want to describe the little yellow sucker. But, when I was sitting in the chair in the room, she tried to get me to go lay down on this examination bed like I did before, but that was a bad experience, so I wouldn't repeat that. She wanted to check out my back and hear my heart rate, so I told her I'll stand up and pull my shirt down, so I did that. She was a very short little woman, and she was trying to listen to my heartbeat through my back. But when I turned around, she was the same height as me, maybe even taller, but it wasn't a female. But this was not a physical, she didn't have a solid consistency. She was like, this creature was like spiritual. And I could vaguely see the clothes that was like cuffs around the hand, or just parts of the uniform or whatever that had on. And it said in a male's voice, it asked me a question and answered it at the same time with the affirmative and a question said, you a teacher? You're a teacher. But it didn't say it twice, it said it. And you can't do that in human vernacular. You can't ask a question at the same time with the same words. But this creature did that in a heavy male voice. And I responded truthfully. I said, yes. Yes, I am. Then when I sit back down, she was tapping on the inside of my left arm. And then I looked, and she was tapping, and she would start saying, baby, baby, baby. But her hand, it's a real small, little thin hand, but It turned into something like plastic, like a little plastic cone. A little tiny hand tapping on my arm saying, baby, baby, baby. And I was thinking, what the hell? And so when I came out the office, I told the brother and sister that were with me exactly what happened. And they can bear witness to it, would you? In fact, I told all of you in class that night or next night.
Yes, I bear witness to it.
You know, I told all of you all in class, if you remember that. And then probably a few days later, they start coming out with these commercials on TV with all these people with the tiny little hands. The little tiny little rigid hands. Do you all remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get you to understand it's not your imagination. You follow me? These things are happening in a superficial reality. And I can tell you, don't be alarmed by it.
This is Brother Hotep. I bear witness to what Brother Moon is saying, because when he was telling us, and he brought up a diagram on a piece of paper here, and he's showing us, and I was listening at him, and I'm looking at what he was drawing, and sure enough, the commercial came on TV, and it showed the same thing that he was telling us and drawed on that piece of paper. So I bear witness.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me what it meant. Now I'll tell you how you do a timeline. A timeline is when I was taken up in 2013. A lot of people thought it was mythological, it was just some stuff I made up or I experienced in a dream or something. You know what I mean? No, this was indeed real, and what I'm giving you right now is exactly real. And what the brother was describing happened to him at night in the bed, that too was real. Okay, but in 2013, when I was taken up, I was standing by, looked like a table, and I was talking to Malachi right in front of him. He was very soft-spoken, and there were beings around. It looked like the deck of the Star Trek, but they were dressed in white. They all had their backs turned to me. It's been my experience that when you in other realms and planets and worlds, that when beings have their back turned to you, or they have a little fan over their face, like the old ladies in church, the little wooden handle fans, that they're, reptoid beings, insectoids. They don't want you to see their form. But anyway, I was telling him I can't wait to get back to you all to tell you everything that happened. And his expression changed. He got so serious. He said, "Don't tell those mortals anything." Now that didn't sit well with Brother Amun, because I know there is no big or small in the eyeball. Say it again.
Why do you think he said that?
Well, I don't know why he said it, but I know it came out of a personal position. I don't want to say it's selfish, but I don't want to, try to figure out what it was he meant or what he was thinking, but I know what I was thinking. It didn't set right with me. Because I know if you all don't know, you can't prepare, and, you'll necessarily, but I do know this. If you go back and read, what's the name of that book he was speaking about the Anunnaki and the Lost Book of Enki. I sent you all PDFs of that. And when Anu asked to have a lot of the hybrids brought up to the Nibiru, and they did bring them up to Enki and Murdoch, etc., or Malachi. But now, when Anu invited them to dinner to eat, because when you drink water and eat food on the Nibiru and spend time there, then you too become immortal. And before that could happen, they all revolted against that and said, no, send them back to Earth so they can die like the rest of them. So for whatever reason, I'm not going to say that it's jealousy or fear of their position, because that's not logical to me. But I did consider the possibility that they just enjoy you the way you are as Lulu Amilu, primitive slaves, workers, that they can abuse, rape, work, torment, violate, and I know that negative beings, they get energized from negative emotion, from your fear, your confusion, your hatred, your anger, your prejudices, your jealousies, and your insecurities. That creates an energy and atmosphere that they feed on. Like in the fog of war, they really thrive in those kind of situations, right? So, I don't know. I can tell you something else is strange. I bet nobody can answer for me logically. Every time I'm up there and on other worlds, which is very frequently, I can walk past one of those brothers and I have a, I just try to open up a conversation because they'll say, we'll kill you, And I'm like, what? And they're gone before I can say, like, for what? Why? Where is that coming from? So, it's a lot of things I'm confused about myself, but I'm not confused about this. I don't like everything that they do, these beings. Now, if you start thinking of them as benevolent and angelic and good and all these things, you'll be sadly mistaken and very much deceived. Because you all created in their image and likeness. Even when you scripturally go to, and God said, let us create man in our image and our likeness. We're not talking about singularity. We're not talking about one God, but a race of extraterrestrial beings. This us and we, right? And you yourselves know that people here on earth are not all positive, but they're a conglomeration of, there's many different things, and some even have clashing energies where that you don't think, you can say, well, I don't like her, or I like him, but what about her? I don't know nothing. I don't feel anything one way or the other. They're like in some gray area. You know what I mean? So these beings, they're like that too. There's good and evil in every species, right? But it seems that I find myself frequenting a lot of the disagreeable ones, but not all the time. And I keep finding myself trying to find out, see it in a positive light, or maybe they meant this, or maybe they meant that. But when I conclude the whole thing, it's just like the question you asked me, what do you think he meant by that? I don't really know where it came from, but I can tell you that I don't have a positive feeling about it. That's as close as I can get to an answer, okay? And it didn't hinder me from coming back and telling you all. You see me telling you right now?
Yes.
There was a war in heaven. Son, there was a war in heaven. This is it. A war against truth and lies. A war between good and evil. All right? And these creatures are trying to make evil fair seeming, and of course, make good seem evil. Are you following me? It's like when they raided the Capitol on January 6th. Right after they started saying on the news that it was Antifa that did it, right? Everybody remember that? Now you gonna believe the devil or your lying eyes? Antifa is a black organization, so they were saying that it was black people that did that. You know that was them dressed up like animals and beasts and doing everything. That was white. That was 99% white people, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, why do they lie? The devil is a liar. You follow me? So they do that all the time. It's become a part of their makeup. It's just lying all the time. It's like, they want to, black people are such and evil beings, and you got to press your door when they walk by, and this, that, and the other. But let me show you the elephant in the room. These mass murders that's going on in the United States. 99.9% of the time, they're unprovocated, no motive. I mean, they just killing for the sake of killing. Breaking into schools and shooting up all these children in movie theaters and people in churches and all this supermarket, people they don't even know, so they can't be upset with the people. They're just murders. The devil's a liar, and a murder is the foundation of creation. Now, they got everybody thinking black people are evil, but I want you to tell me, every time you see these mass murders on TV, when they do surface, what do they look? Somebody describe them to me.
Caucasian.
Who are these damn devil murderers killing everybody senselessly?
What we call white people.
I understand. But they got you psychologically and subliminally believing that the troubles come from Antifa. You follow me? I don't dismiss what I'm saying, but I want you to analyze it. There's some deep doo-doo right there, some serious stuff. Because not only are you blaming the wrong people, not all the time, because you got some terrible drive-by, clown, but they do it on personal levels, what they get things vindication for some personal beef or whatever. But this senseless murder, you know what I mean, and eating people, Jeffrey, that's wrong. You follow me? Unprovoked murder like that. I'm just saying, That's pure evil in the deepest existential sense of the word. All right, let's go back to Holy Tablets here. We'll reopen to 13. It is then that the shams, passenger crafts, and that's those crafts that you see. You want to see what they look like. Look up Ed Walters, Gulf Breeze, Florida. UFOs. Write it down, and don't be mentally lazy and dismiss what I ask you to research. Ed Walters, Gulf Breeze, Florida. UFOs, YouTube. And you see the shams. They have a base there under the water as well. They look like crowns.
I believe I heard one of them.
Yeah. You may well have, I don't know, but they're silent when they move. Most spoofer, I'm sorry, say it again.
Maybe they make like a beeping sound or something?
No, they don't make any sound at all.
I must have had a nervous breakdown.
No. I'm not saying that you didn't, have an experience with the craft that made a sound, son. That's not what I'm saying. That was not my experience. I'm telling you that these specific crafts, these spoofer, these shafts, these crown-shaped crafts that are used by the Anunnaki, they don't make a sound. You got many civilizations out there, some 100,000, some a million years advanced over Earth. Some less than that. And you have many crafts out there that are made on Earth right here. Lockheed Martin and Skunk Works, the government put, back engineers crafts, and they fly around too, and some of them are a little Fred Flintstone, make a little noise or what have you. You follow me?
Right.
But you can't imagine some craft from interstellar space making a combustion sound, what I mean, fire shooting out the back and all that old caveman type stuff that people are awe-stricken by. Wow, they really are advanced. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's tantamount to trying to create the wheel or fire or, it's nothing. And that's why they're trying to hide the reality of extraterrestrial involvement in Earth, because they want to keep you under the spell that they're God with their image on the money and all through all the books and that they're the top of everything and the supreme being when they were only created as food. That's it. It's a sad reality. You've been hoodwinked and Plymouth Rock landed on you, so let it go. But I tell you what your most dangerous enemy is the black devil. No, your second most dangerous, because the first most dangerous is your own inner being, the devil within you. Okay? Now, on the Beirut, you had 400 species broken up into 3 sets of 144,000. You had the Agigi. Those were the disagreeable ones that when the fallen angels came down, and many of you that ordered packages now, I made a point to put the 200 fallen angels, one of the books in there. I want you to revisit some of these things. The second group was the Denier. That means the righteous ones of the rocket ship. And then the third group was the Riskians. Now, these are benevolent by nature, and these are the head of all the species. And they had many mixed species from different star constellations, such as yourselves here on Earth. The Christians later took the concept of the 144,000 and the rapture, used it in their Bible. Now, if we are blocked, and coming to get you all, and what happens is that when they choose to come and get you or abduct you, however you want to define, rapture you, the sham will situate itself over your residence of where you are, the chosen locale, and you feel a strong wind like a tornado. I want you to remember what I'm telling you. And it'll be so strong you'll think that the whole building that you're in is going to be sucked up. And you might even grab the mattress to try to hold on out of fear or confusion. But unless you're a master, you can't even hold back. You're going to instantly shoot up that tube, right? And you feel like you're sitting in a chair. But it's actually a position you're in, and it's thing that you can closely describe on earth they call mystery foam that they have around you to position you that way. And you're wrapped up like kind of like a mummy so that you be in a firm, you won't be flailing all over the place. When you get inside these shafts, they take you up through the bell part in the bottom. You'll be facing something, a large instrument like a fan, and it's rotating clockwise. And then there's a fan over your head that can rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, meaning it will take you into the past or the future. Because a lot of these crafts that you think are interplanetary, intergalactic, or interdimensional, and they're time travelers. What I'm saying is that most of the extraterrestrials that come here, hold on, are really you in the future. Patah, I'd like you to, yeah, that's right, they're you in the future. Yeah, that's right. They're coming back in the past because a lot of things that's happening in the future, 100,000 years and more in the future, are very disturbing, and you have to go back to the point of the trauma. Or if you build a house on sand, you have to correct the foundation, right? You can't start with the roof. So they have to come back to make 97 corrections with you all, because you know they were already informed you when they came here, like on Star Trek. No matter what world you go to, don't interfere with the population, right?
Yes.
But they came here because they wanted the gold to repair their atmosphere, a hole in the ozone layer. This is real. And while they were here, they got tired because they were so sophisticated. They felt that they were too important to do the work, so they threw down the tools. But the elders demanded that the work will be continued. So the head scientists, among which was Enki and Arushka Gale and Nanti and Shah Rester, they started coming together to try to figure out how that they could create a Lulu Avilu, or a primitive worker, to continue the work. And Enki said, well, and going around the planet, I saw such a creature. And he's talking about the Homo erectus, the chimpanzees, the lairs, orangs, and etc. And they used them as a genetic hanger in which to splice their DNA to upgrade them. But then they surgically detangled some of the nerve ganglia in order to keep them from ascending up consciously to ask questions. They wanted them smart enough to do the work and follow instructions, but not wise enough to ask questions. Are you following me? So they were cut off as enocytes, or forgetful beings, surgically. You got me, enos? Right. I'm trying to squeeze the elephant in the thimble and try to bring you up to speed on exactly what's happening here and with you. And they're back to try to correct their mistakes in order to smooth things out up in the future. Now, Patah, what chapter was that? Was it chapter 6, tablet 1, about the electron, proton, neutron grid, etc.?
Tablet 15.
Okay, chapter 6, tablet 15. I need you all to go there too and hold it. Chapter 15. And what tablet was it? Okay, it was tablet 15, and we started on what verse? You remember? I'll find it from there. All right. So it's important for us to revisit these things, because I want you all to have a clear understanding of what's happening. And brother, when you say that you're experiencing these negative things, I don't want you to confuse or conflate silence with you're the only one. Are you following me, son?
Yeah.
And I want to commend you and tip my celestial hat for you having the courage to come out and say that, because a lot of people here are experiencing similar things, but they dread repeating that in public because they want to be ostracized, this, that, and the other, right? But you understand that we're family here. We're trying to get this thing right. That's all, okay? So again, I tip my celestial hat to you for your courage and honesty. But you're not the only one. Are you following me? A lot of people are being plagued by these dreaded energies and these negative beings. You hear me? Vampire-type beings. We had one sister in Florida, our older sister, that was always talking about, they handcuffed me at night, and they behind me trying to bite me on my neck, bite me on my neck, and this, that, and the other. You know, I'm like, I hear you. I know, I understand. But that's coming from you and your negative. Stop lying so much. Stop lying. That's coming from you. You know, you need to clean your mind out and get yourself together and stop lying so much. You take it in position of the devil's vibration, and then you open the door to him, because, see, we're all surrounded by negative and positive entities and energies all the time. And they study you, and they look at your light, your aura, and they look at the color changes. Because when your thoughts make the light changes fluctuate, and when they see colors like green and blue and what have you, the agreeable ones are attracted to you. They circle around your crown mold and they drop down into you and create a heavenly, environment or situation. But when your thoughts are disheveled and confused and negative and what have you, you project a light that's kind of amber or red, or some of you even gray or black. And everybody see with a black or gray aura, run, because you're in a situation there that this being is really thinking about the Most Highness, ugly things you could imagine. But when they see these negative colors in your aura, then the negative ones are attracted to you, and they too circle around the top of your crown molar, where your third chord is. And like a little girl jumping rope Dutch, they know just when rhythmically to jump in. They go through the soft spot in your head, they download into your body, and they bring that hell to you. You got it? So it wouldn't be right of me to keep letting you know what's wrong and not giving you the solution. I'm telling you the solution is that you have to keep programming yourself with truth and positivity. And it's got to be 24/7, because cell phones and satellites don't stop when you get sleepy. All right? So I'm trying to say, order these spiritual packages for me, and don't just put them on your mantelpiece of TV, let them collect dust, and think because they're in your house by some form of osmosis, you're going to start getting protection. No, you got to really start playing these things 24 hours a day, and I'll tell you which ones to play all the time, right? The ones to frequent, right? Because I got a lot of them that are information. And if you think to yourself, well, they're just rigged by him or something, you got that right. Because the kind of information that I want to give you to help you to transform and protect yourself and prepare you for the shift, there's nothing that they have in books, because most of them don't know, and the ones that do would never tell you. But I definitely know, and I was sent here as your guide in order to guide you back, home, right? And so all information comes from all, and I have to arrange and gather this information in a way that's most effective for your growth. Are you following me? Because there will be a new heaven, a new earth, and the former things will pass away. And they are passing away. Look at the book of Revelations in the Bible. You grew up confused about, and terrified, and about plagues, and mother against children, father against sons, etc., earthquakes in diverse places, plagues, and all. You can't tell one season from another. And these prophecies are really happening. Look at Syria and Turkey. And as far as the rapture, just look at these United States. They're talking about all these unidentified flying objects they're encountering all over the country, shooting them down, etc. There was a balloon they said was from China, but the others are nondescript. They don't go into too much detail about them, except that they're not attached to a balloon, right? So I'm telling you, the invasion is on. I haven't had another doctor here, Dr. Rashmi Huda, a Hindu, and she is a shapeshifter too. I'm telling you that a lot of this pharmaceutical, look it up in the Greek, it's sorcery. These devils in the medical profession, they're seated with these negative entities. These extraterrestrial beings are here on Earth, and they're walking around disguised as people, and they're tormenting you all and killing you and doing every other horrible thing. You follow what I'm saying? Now, you will find out that I'm telling you the truth one way or the other. I hope you find out on the right side of the ignorant pole. I really do. I'm doing my best to make sure that you get there. But, yeah, she's a shapeshifter as well. One perfect example is that I got bit by a black widow spider. and on my leg, on the top of my thigh, and it was really getting really infested, really bad. And so I went to Dr. Huda. She checked it out, what have you. And then she told me she sent the prescription for the antibiotics into CVS. And I went down there, and they said no prescription like that exists. And they called her, she wouldn't answer. So I went back to her 3 times, and 5 times for me calling on the phone, she said that she sent the prescription in. It got to be like a running joke that they were laughing when I got there. Mr. Darrensburg, there's no prescription like that. We don't have anything from Dr. Huda. And so I had to drive all the way to another city to Macon, Georgia, to a clinic in order to get prescriptions for the black woman thing. But now I'll tell you, I was in her office and she was saying on the speakerphone over and over again, from out of nowhere, Mr. Darrensburg, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm not trying to kill you. No, you were there. You just told me you heard.
Yes, that is correct. I was there within that day, and I heard her say those words. Mr. Darrensburg, I'm not trying to kill you. That's not what I'm here for.
And she's a damn lie. That's exactly why she's there.
Okay. Yes.
All right. So what I'm saying is that don't think that you don't have people in your workplace or in your schools or even in your family or even in your mirror. That's what, yes, I said it. Even in your mirror. That are not these shape-shifting evil beings. They are. And this misconception, misdirection about devils up underground and red leotards with horns and tails and pitchforks and this, that, and the other, get that out your mind. Let me ask you a logical question. How can the devil be underground and all this hell is up here with us? He's walking to and fro on the earth, isn't he? Isn't he? That's right.
Yes, he is.
That's right. So don't, wherever the devil is, that's where the hell is. Okay. Now, and they don't like me teaching, I can tell you that now. You know that. How do you draw that conclusion logically? Even a person that's a very mild-mannered like Martin Luther King, talking about he would like start a poor people's campaign so that garbage people, the people that did menial labor, could be brought up to a living wage, and he would like black and white children to be able to play on the red clay of Jordan. You know, can't we all get along, Rodney? All that type of thing, the love and this and that and the other. Oh, you know, that type of thing. To the real devil, that's an affront. Worthy of murder. You should be murdered for that. Now, whether you agree with the man or you didn't, unless you Satan, you know that it was nothing he was doing that deserved to be murdered. But they're not trying to assassinate the head of the Ku Klux Klan or the skinheads. You better wake up and stop being stupid. So now, how much more the things that if they don't want people to be conscious and emotionally stable and reconnected with divine love, which is your core, then how much more are they angered by my presence and what I teach and the way I teach and prove things, Star Movers? How much more? That's right. If they want to kill politicians like Eldridge, Cleaver, and all these different people, you know, and religious figures, they want to kill all these people for even trying to stand up for what's right or tell the truth in any way, then you know what I'm saying is really a boilerplate issue. Now, these shams again. If we are blocked, we shall continue to try to abduct you up until the lunar logging of the 26th point in June, when the Earth positions itself in the location of revolution of Earth year 2030. Now, let me be clear. That's not meaning that you can be taken up until 2030. That's not what's said. Malachi wrote a 3-piece tablet, but it was in the form of papers, and he said, altering that Amun would take all of you up before 2030, August 12th. Amun without the ray on it, right? So he is talking about me, of course. And anybody that's not in denial, thinking it's a river in Egypt, knows that by now, right? Okay. Of the Gregorian calendar. This is what the so-called Christians call the rapture. Know this, my child. In a little longer, the 12th point in the month of August, when the planet called Earth positions itself in the location of revolution of Earth in the year 2043. Again, you can't be taken up by then. What they're saying is that the Nibiru parked on the other side of the asteroid belt or the hammered bracelet, and when the vortex opens up again, that they have to depart then, right? They're going to leave planet. And won't be back for another 25,000 years. You imagine how much hell you can incur in that? Okay. Gregorian calendar, this vortex will reopen, and we must depart with or without you. So be prepared. I'm here. You better listen. My child, listen and understand. These crafts are coming to pick you up, their children. Now, I'll go on a little bit. The planet top, Earth, is shaking off its disease, which is the human being. The disease is the human being. Because he has abused and destroyed the natural law and order of Anu, or nature, by polluting the water, the soil, air, etc. You are meant to exist in a universal harmony, in a natural order, with the Netherit made. You must align your Ba soul and tune your cat body on the same vibrational level with Anu, or nature. I'm not on a verse, this is something else. As you walk, awaken from the tomb of ignorance, from the blinding light into eternal darkness again. Sound right reasoning. You will see how many still walk aimlessly without a guided path in the blinding light called religion, be it Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and for many, nothing at all. You will understand that for you exists an inner duty which will enable you to emanate the guidance conveyed to you by the sacred elders. They who have provided you with information for realignment. Okay? Now, if we can go to, and if you want the information about this dimensional shift, write down this. I want you to type in Google the Mandela effect, YouTube, and start your search. And you will have inescapable evidence, even in your Christian Bible, King James Bible, where everything is changed because this is a new heaven, a new earth coming in. For example, where it says, one day that the lion and the lamb were laid down together, now it says, the wolf and the leopard and the kid will lay down. You know, it's not, in other words, these things. So a lot of people misinterpret it. What they're saying is that, yeah, they changed a lot of the Bible. They got New World Bible. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if your grandmother gave you a Bible 50 years ago, it's not the same Bible that you have in your hand right now. And if you don't believe it, go get it and I'll prove it right this second. Don't play with me. If this stuff is too hard for you to wrap your mind around, then maybe you're in the wrong place. You just can't handle the truth. And you're not going to make it. But if I tell you something and you disagree with it, or you're confused by it, all you need to do is just ask me to prove it. Right? It's the truth you're looking for. All right? Okay. Chapter 6, tablet 15. And if you don't believe I'm who I am, I can prove that too. Again and again and again and again and again. Let me ask some of you all that's been around a long time. When was the Prophet Mustafa Muhammad Al-Amin born? If you don't know, look it up. And when did he make his ascension, or what you call die?
Was that
after the Messiah Jesus says he's going to go away and give you and send you another comforter?
Yes, that's in the Bible that Jesus said that. That is expedient for me to leave you. But I will send in my stead a comforter who will come to you in all truth. Right? He was speaking about Mustafa Muhammad Ali. But what I'm asking is the birth date. How you doing in Bonton Relay, Terry?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Okay.
All right. Round better, everybody.
I'm glad to hear you, family. Okay, what I'm asking is the birth date of Mustafa Muhammad Ali. Peace and blessings of the Most High be upon him.
It wasn't June. What is June? It wasn't June 26th, huh?
What I'm looking for is the year of his birth and the year that he departed, or what you call died.
570.
570 AD. Until what?
2030.
No.
2030.
No, Muhammad. Say it again,
632.
632. So from 570 to 632, how old was he? When he was actually 60. No, he was 62.
62.
61. Right. 62. All right, now do the math. And I'm revealing like the brother. Even though I'm a timeless being, I don't get old in the conventional sense. I was born in 1951. And I was taken up in 2013. How old was I when I made that ascension? Somebody. 62 years old. Now how do I bend that and to make it fit? Now I want you all to Google this. Bright light UFO ascending and descending over the Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, YouTube. Bright light UFO ascending and descending over the Aqsa Mosque or Dome of the Rock. Dome of the Rock is easier. Mosque in Jerusalem, YouTube. Now, for those of you who've already done that, what do you see? Well,
it's a bright light over it.
A ball of light that is shot up through the seven heavens at what speed?
Faster than light speed.
That's right. Well, that bright light that you saw shoot up, that was me. And that's from the Magaraj, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end, when you had Muhammad that made the sacred journey from the precincts in Mecca to Jerusalem. And those that saw that and bore witness said I was going on a burak, a white light being. That was that light. That's the only way they could describe it at that time. And then I went and I went inside the Aqsa Mosque and I stepped on a rock. My footprint is still embedded in that rock. And I made the ascension up through the seven heavens on that night. The night of power, when the angels and the Ra, all of them came down. The night of power was the most wonderful night. And I'm still moving those stars in the heavenly creation and pulling it down to you all and performing miracles. And better than that, I have most of you doing things just like that. Am I right or wrong? Are you people here performing miracles?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. That's a wonderful thing. So that proves to you about my character. I'm not here to be a central figure that's charismatic to any certain belief or to be a big guy. I don't want people to follow me. I want to walk with you all. Behold, I looked at Mount Zion and to the Lamb, and with him 144,000, with their father's name written in their foreheads. Are you following me? Because I already know there is no big or small in the eye of all. Right? But I can be confirmed easily by anybody looking for the truth. You want to prove me up? Now, when you do, I'm not going to ask you to prove who you are because you already explained that silently. Okay, now, verse 128 or 127. Let me know when you all are there. That'll be page 585 in the softback. Need some help with finding that. It's chapter 6, tablet 15, verse 127. Now, don't be bored by what I'm revealing to you because it's going to all come together. I love it when a plan comes together. 127.
Got it.
All right. The rest of you, do you have it?
Yes.
And our sister Joanne Trudy is here with us tonight. Are you still here, Joanne?
I'm here. I am here.
See, I know you have a holy. Bless your soul. You have a holy tablet too, right?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm at that verse. I'm at chapter 6, tablet 15, verse 127. Yes.
Very good. All right. The secret number as found as the seal Muhammadra or Mohammedan in the back of the dollar bill. Found as 13 steps on the pyramid, 13 letters in the Nuit. Coptus, 13 stars forming the 6-pointed star, 13 5-pointed stars equaling 65, which is 11 for the 11 tribes of Canaan. 13 stripes, 13 olive leaves, 13 arrows, symbolic of the original 13 colonies, the phoenix bird transformed into the eagle. You have the eye above the pyramid, absent of the cornerstone, for the eye sits in the cornerstone, the eye of Osiris, father of Osiris, husband to Isis, who was called Diana, Artemis, Phoebe, Cynthia, Sybil, Ishtar, and Astaroth. She is the symbol of the crescent moon. The ancient Greeks used the crescent as an emblem of universal mother of all living things. The Virgin Mother. Okay, let's go down. Okay, now let's go to 141. Skip ahead a bit. On the other side of the pyramid, urn and 5-pointed star publicly, 6-pointed star privately. They meet with the As-Salamu Alaykum, which is returned by Alaykum As-Salam, and the model of strength and fury called the Order of the Eagle of Skull and Bone, with a great owl as their overside and the eye of the owl as a symbol. So a lot of you all, if you ever see or hear owls when you have negative experiences, remember that means the Anunnaki are around. When you go through this picture of what was the fourth kind, where they abducted all those 1,000 people that night, and what city in Alaska was that? Nome, Alaska. Google it, write it down. This is a class. This is not a religious place. And I'm not here to confirm your erroneous beliefs. I'm here to give you the facts, relevant facts. Oh, it's true that grass is green and water is wet, but what is that going to do for you? You really want to wake up? You're in the right place. Look up.
I got a question.
I'll do my best.
Well, when you see them owls or whatever, and they are around, so those are negative Anunnaki that are around you?
Probably, but let me qualify that. I'm not trying to imply that every time you see it. Sometimes when you see an owl, you just see an owl. But now let me show you the connection. What is the word that you learn as a Nawabian for the force of creative will?
Who?
Who? And what's the sound that an owl makes?
Who?
That insinuates the wise old owl. That's right. Who? The force of creative will, right? The devil pretending to be God. You follow me? But I'm not trying to imply that every time you hear or see an owl, it's the devil. All I'm saying is that look for the signs, okay? You may be seeing or experiencing an owl just because it's an owl, okay?
Okay.
But now you know more. Now you know more than you did before. That's all I'm saying. 144 with the great owl as their oversight, and the eye of the owl as a symbol. Now here we go. 145. This is what I wanted to give you all. The light renders the Illuminati a member of the Illuminati, but a new light, other than the fire, is here. See that again. Amen. Amen. The keys to future luminaries, called the sons of the green light, are electromagnetic forces, and you know that's angelic beings, just like Ray's angelic beings, and you are angelic beings. These forces affect the rhythms of life and the appearance and extinction of species within the Earth's magnetic field. The higher evolution will give a better understanding of how electric forces alter biological rhythms, and will allow atomites in this conscious time zone to receive whole light beings right? So every night you have an OBE, your spiritual essence, raises up the vibration, and acts freely on your flesh, travels up the light cord of your spine, which is Jacob's ladder, and it gets to the crown mold, raises up the vibration, causes the tube to expand the opening, like woman dilating, and it gives birth when the light leaves the temple. The inside of your head, it goes to that etheric tube, and you feel like you're flying or floating in a dream. Everything you think of comes true right away. Every place you think of being, you're instantly there. That's the spirit, unhindered. That's right. God unchained. That's you, a free spirit. And anybody that's observing you with spiritual eye, they'll see this ball of light. A lot of times you misinterpret them as meteorites or comets or something in the sky. You call them fallen stars. A lot of times that's people falling down, fallen angels being cast down. On the last post that I gave you, and you got yesterday, those that are wise among you are checking out the post that I give you and know that these are divine gifts. And you're going to find links on there of Spectrum 1 commercial where you see all these folks falling down from heaven. Right? How many of you checked that out?
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
All right. And then one of them says, I'm the prince. I'm a prince and I need your help. And I took you all to a biblical verse that showed that Jesus was at war with this prince, these princes, right? It's the prince of darkness, the fallen angels falling from the skies. That's what it is. And they're trying to tell you in the last days, and they're trying to raise up resistance among devils to tell them that, they're under assault. And, everything's being revealed. You got it? And their time is up. You saw a kayak commercial on the post that I sent you just yesterday. And they're at a resort, and you got like 6 of these reptilian beings sitting around in purple robes around the table with all those teeth talking and laughing about how they got the normals, as they call you all, the normals subdued. But raising prices so high, you can't afford a vacation. So they got everything to themselves. In other words, they're driving the truth underground and trying to bring the evil, demonic lie into light, Trump. Are you following me? And I know some black devils always talking about Trump, my boy. I'm like, nigga, you say he possessed with the devil is what it is with you. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to try to, I'm not here to tell you that. But anyway, you heard it. Okay. And then when they hear the splash in the water, they turn around and say, who are you? How'd you get here? He said, kayak. I looked it up and they, in other words, give me an affordable ticket, and that's how I got to this resort. And they turn to each other, and they say to each other, well, we're going to have to eat him. And the other one say, well, you do it. You eat it, right? But that's symbolic. See, when commercials don't make sense to you, they make sense to somebody because they paid thousands and thousands of dollars to produce it and air it, right? You think they're just talking nonsense?
Right.
They're talking to you. They're talking to you, and there's a message. Well, they may not be talking to you, but they're talking, and there's a real message there, an expensive one, a very well thought out one, right? If they know what time it is, so don't you be deceived, beloved. All right. Now, 45 again, the lightning is Illuminati, a member of the Illuminati, but a new light other than the fire is here. The keys to future luminaries, called the sons of the green light, are electromagnetic forces. These forces affect the rhythms of life and the appearance and extinction of species within the Earth's magnetic field. The higher evolution will give a better understanding of how electric forces alter biological rhythms and will allow Adamites in this conscious time zone to receive whole light beings who will give instruction of the next ordering of evolution in our universe. The key speaks of how the Earth species has a direct light arc. This direct light focus, which controls its biological rhythms. Enos, as forgetful beings, will soon learn that his life system is not directly dependent upon the solar magnetic field to regenerate their biological rhythms. In other words, your spiritual beings having a physical experience. When you came here, at what you call your birth, your mother and father, you were as a baby inside your mother, you were a light being that were injected inside of your mother and father 3 months before they came together conjugally even. As a spiritual light, whole light being that you're speaking of. And you were fully mature, well, immature in a lot of ways, ignorant enough to rebel against your creator. But the point I'm making is that even when you were born after the 12 months that they called 9 months, and before the cord was cut, you were still a spiritual entity, even though you had this bud clinging to the light as a fungus. You know, that you were not dependent upon outside atmosphere for breathing with lungs. Neither were you dependent upon the outside sun, where heat with the inner sun and your solar plexus, right? Until the doctor turned you upside down and spanked you, and the pain caused you to cry, which forced you to inhale second or prana and this oxygen, which is very flammable, and it's circulated through your pyro or your nose around to your arterial circulatory system, and it eventually hit that inner light, that sun that makes you maintain a constant body temperature 98.6 of burn calories, etc. That inner fire, because when you exhale carbon, not just a sign of a fire burning, right? Let's be serious. Research what you don't understand. Don't just dismiss it. And then when it ignited that oxygen, a spark that was generated from that binded the spirit to the mud to create the living soul that gave you a zero time reference or beginning your life here on the physical plane as a part of Earth. And now you've forgotten who and what you really are, and I'm here to reconnect you with the reality of who and what you really are. All right? But many are called and few are chosen. A new source of light is now reaching our solar system and interpenetrating Earth's magnetic field, altering the biological rhythms. Its color is emerald green, not amber or red, right? Light contrary to the amber, red light. Oh, there it is. This is forcing the species to leave behind its old-time cell of perception on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. In other words, you got to snap out that lion. This must take place before the species can go into a new time cell of consciousness. As the arcs of light begin to change, a different light force is beginning to work with the electromagnetic forces. This is causing the magnetic field of the brain cavity to be sufficiently raised to a higher mental frequency. Yes, Lord. Allowing inosites of forgetful beings to receive whole light beings upon the reinsertion of the barytheric gland and the reactivation of the supreme melanin. It has previously been thought that the life forces of the Earth's magnetic field control the rhythms of life of all biological species, and living cells need only the light of our own portion of the electromagnetic spectrum to survive. Eocytes will have the brain of an electromagnetic computer and will be forced to adapt to an enlarged electromagnetic spectrum. The new electromagnetic frequency is an astrobiological threshold by itself. Your sun, by virtue of being a variable star, will be seen as having great limitations for future evolutions. Makes the journey within. This will be seen by a visible exchange of the solar polarity fields and by the magnetic mapping. Okay, Anukas, you brought us the article where the Earth's core is spinning, and it has stopped spinning. So what's happening is the poles are reversing, right? Now, how you be able to tell that is when you flush your toilet, you unplug your tub or sink. Now the water goes down in the vortex, but it goes clockwise. It spirals down clockwise. But when you start seeing it, like below the equator in South America, when they unplug theirs, it goes counterclockwise. When you see the water start going down counterclockwise, you know that the shift is complete, okay? I'm just giving you ways to verify and confirm the facts. All right. 163. Your sun, by virtue of being a variable star, will be seen as having great limitations for future evolution. That's right. Time up. This will be seen by a visible exchange of the solar polarity fields and by the magnetic mapping of inner solar magnetic lines rotating faster than the surface of your sun, of the sun. These changes will also affect the rotation of Saturn, and This will be seen as a periodic effect which will be noticed in the activity of the band of Anshar called its rings. Now, with Ta and Katat and people like that, a lot of you brothers and sisters that were here with me, we walk a lot, and we were walking from the supermarket one night, and what did we all witness in the sky in regards to the planets? But we're talking about the planetary alignment that we just read about in the Holy Tablets. They were here when we saw that. It happened more than just in 2005, May 5th, okay? This will be seen as a periodic effect which will be noticed in the activity of the band of Anshar called its rings. These changes are the result of new biological light controls being introduced by the new administrative order in conjunction with the Council of 9 Ether, not 6 anymore. These changes are necessary to prepare our moral evolution to overlap with whole light beings of advanced creation and the evoluting of new astral mutations. That's how you all are performing these miracles. New astral mutations will take place where new magnetic lines bring about the balances in the energy coupling from a proton-electron-proton grid to an electron-proton-electron grid. Here, the bioenergy field of the body inherits a new electron and positron pair. And the blood circulatory system inherits new magnetic lines of force. The ionized field around the blood cell loses its proton-electron-proton relationship to a new electron-proton-electron field as the life form is moved into the next phase of the electromagnetic spectrum. In other words, enocytes will be able to participate in higher evolutionary worlds, new heaven and new earth, right? Because his hemoglobin chain will shift, dimensional shift, right, with his paleogenetic tree to a new system of balance whereby a singular group. In order for enocytes to work with the next electron orbital level of the universal mind, become one with all again, your molecular density level will have to become less dense and grow more transparent, spiritual, you know. Enocytes must be completely remade anew by going through the energy grids that control his present biological arrangement so that he can be revitalized into new grids of attunement. Enocytes must go through the energy grid controlling cell division on his biological level of organization. A planetary biomagnetic grid controlling the collective species evolution. When enocytes go through these energy grids, they will activate new magnetic fields and displace his old planetary biorhythms. Contrary to what present-day geneticists say, the ultraviolet radiation will be controlled and will not destroy the sensitive genetic code called melanoma. It has already been claimed that ultraviolet radiation would apply to the DNA at specific intensities, causes thymin to dimerize. When the embryonic growth is placed in an artificial environment, which is subject for long current magnetic injection, the former embryonic magnetic lines of force in the body can be changed. Through this process, the whole body can be biomagnetically recoded to adapt to a new biological environment without ever having to experience pain, according to the human physiological network. This process uses the fifth circulatory system, which opens the pain-coding mechanism and properly realigns the blood, lymphatic, and nervous circulatory systems to function in different biological environments. This is done in the event that a transfer of the species to a new environment is necessary for the survival of the Nubians. This is why our electromagnetic stage of evolution will itself be changed to allow for new patterns of ongoing evolution. Merkaba mechanisms give the cue for the timing of biological change by the Earth's magnetic cycles. These changes can take place in a matter of hours and remove whole species that have evolved in a geological time frame. In order for enocytes to work with the next electron orbital level of the universal mind, the all, your molecular density level will have to become less dense and grow more transparent or spiritual in order to participate in multidimensional realities. Inner sight must be completely be made anew. That's where you get the word new being, right? Thus you have Nubian or the new being. But specifically, inner sight must go through the energy grid controlling cell division. You look at this Hindu Dr. Who, she came in the office. Well, she used to ask me, like, one thing she'd always tell me, Mr. Jarrett, I knew you were here because when you get close to my office, I get weak and dizzy, faint, have headaches, and I have to hold on to something to keep from falling. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, devil, I know. She came in one time talking about white people don't respect black people because they're ignorant and illiterate and that, going on like this. And I just look at this. I want to say you curse damn ignorant. You don't really. If I start telling you about yourself, you will crumble up into a fetal position, hide up under your bed, eating your own hand up, and it'll never come out again. You understand what I'm saying? Now you can't tell the truth. I told her, I said so. So you're not even trying to reflect on the way that these pyramid builders were abducted, kidnapped, and enslaved, and all that stuff, and hung for reading the book and all. So you're not even dealing with reality. I said, well, let me ask you a question, Mahatma Gandhi. What about Gandhi? My grandfather, my uncle, he still has the handcuff marks on scars on his wrist when he was in prison in India because he was part of the revolt against the British. I said, yeah, they did the same thing to y'all. So I'm saying, why are you doing that? But that's why devils don't like me, because they want to try to force that lie down my throat like shit with a plunger, and it's just not happening, right?
Right.
And they don't want to be around me because they don't want that truth forced down theirs. The actual reality. I'm not here to confirm your erroneous beliefs. I'm here to give you the facts. You got
That's right.
John 8:32, and only the truth will make you free. Keep that in mind. All right, Jerry, what's your question?
Oh, Terry.
Jerry. Okay, family, go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't know. Are we born with barytheric glands, or we don't have a barytheric gland?
Well, most of you have had them surgically removed. And they used to be in the hippocampus area of your brain, about the size of a walnut, right? But after they were surgically removed, like I said, by these reptilian entities, they try to break your connection with the Most High. But in the last days, those of you that are chosen will have them relocated surgically in the lower submental under your chin.
Right. So you said it was removed when we was born, when we was a little baby or something?
Let me say, there are women in South America that you see a scar on their backs all the time. It's because white people went down there, and for older white people with a lot of money, they have kidney failure, and they buy their kidneys from them, and surgically remove one of them, and they've been doing it generationally so long that they become weak like that. They don't do it for the men because they need them out in the fields and hunting, right? But they become, even their daughters are born with that weakness. Are you following what I'm saying? Because of the removal of kidneys over generations, right? So what I'm saying is by removing surgically the barytheric gland, it's also passed on to your children that they're born deformed or without it, too. Are you following me? While some of you still have your barytheric gland, but it's not activated, but in some cases it is, star movers, and others still have the nerve endings, or just the imprint of it spiritually, and it gives you access to spiritual things a lot of times. Are you following me? But I'm saying it's no different than because devils don't know what the appendix is used for, or the tonsils, they say that they don't serve any purpose. Are you following what I'm saying? So when they become inflamed, their remedy is to remove them surgically, cut them out, because they don't serve any purpose. And their barbaric, ignorant way. You follow me? But the thing is 1025. But the thing is your barytheric gland, all your tonsils, all these organs can be replaced, because the three of them work in concert to raise up your spiritual vibrations in order to put you back in tune with the higher realms. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
And so there'll be a lot of you that'll be laying on your right side, and you'll see beings performing surgery in your lower back, and they'll insert this white disc. It's called a velar, a dye, or a disc in between the cartilages. And then they'll close again, and you won't be seeing any sign or feeling any effects of it. But this crystal, like all crystals, collects information about your past, future, all of your chemistry, your dreams, and what you think is heaven, and this, that, and the other. And so when you're taken up, you go up through a central vortex, and there are certain elders that are specially qualified, just like in a mixing studio for music, and they get this crystal back and they put it, insert it, and then they go through your memory and what have you, and they erase all your fears and turn them to pleasant, replace with pleasant, beautiful memories, and they rearrange your molecular structure, just like on Star Trek. You know, you go into a million little pieces, they bring, you know, etc. And then when you get through the shift again, it's a long scientific process. I can't explain, but right now we need to move some stars and just prove that you're disciples right now, rather than have an explanation of it, right? But believe me, I know these things and have experienced these things, and they're all very real. So what it is that, for example, the name of these crafts, they're called sham here on Earth. But in their vernacular, a sham means something that's fake or phony. Are you following me? I'm just trying to show you how they casted a spell on you. But yeah, Terry, you're a very good soul. Your birthday glam will be replaced. All right, now I need all of you to go out right now and very quickly look up at the sky and tell me what you see. Ryan, are you still here from Pennsylvania?
The whole creation.
Okay. Who's going to move that first star or bring these stars closer to us?
Whoa.
And if you want, I'll make the whole creation just continue to drop so you can see all the stars falling over and over again. If it's hard for you to wrap your mind around fallen stars or fallen angels, I'll show you. It's not just probable or possible, it's inevitable. And it's happening now. It's not a thing of the past. So the thing about things attacking you in your sleep, you don't want that to continue, because you'll be totally consumed by that, and that'll become your ultimate reality. And that's not heaven by any stretch or measure. Okay?
Right.
All right. Who's going to be the first one?
The whole sky. Clouds.
You got clouds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you won't always have them. All right. Maror, what you got in Florida?
I want to move the whole creation. I got all the stars in my face.
All right, very good. How are you going to move him? Which way? And everybody should bear witness to what he's doing. He's going to move the entire creation.
The entire creation. All creation go up in the name of the Messiah, Amun-Rayay. All creation go up. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All creation go to the right in the name of Amun-Rayay, the Messiah. All creation go to the right. Going to the right. All creation going to the right.
If you're not going outside bearing witness to this, then you're not here to free yourself. Come in. Go ahead.
All creation go back to the left in the name of the Messiah, Amun-Rayay. All creation go to the left.
And if you can't see it, I feel sorry for you. Because
it's going to the left.
Your third eye is evidently calcified and closed, and you don't have access to spiritual reality. Go ahead.
It's still going. We're stretching it all the way to the left. It's still moving. Keep going. All right, now stop and go clockwise circle for the chosen ones, all righteous ones. Under the name of the Messiah, Amun-Rayay.
Nobody's going to bear witness to what he's doing. You all can't see what he's
doing. Clockwise circle.
I know you all see this twice a week at least, so why are you quiet now?
I can feel it too.
Yeah, I know.
And we're going to go up all the way up one more time.
You're going to go what, up?
Yes. All the way up. I can see the spectrum of the lights on the top of the stars going up. Keep going. All the way.
Kiefer.
That's right.
What do you see in Tennessee or you
Thank you.
in Texas? I love you.
Love you.
It's overcast here, Messiah.
All right. What about in Tennessee, Kiefer?
It's raining.
Okay. All right, Katat. What about you in
London,
Florida?
cloudy.
Are you? Go ahead. I'm sorry?
No, I said London's cloudy. It's got high winds and clouds.
Okay, London's cloudy. Okay, well, you want to move the clouds, Cheryl?
It's really windy and the clouds will all move. It's proper overcast.
Okay, all right. I love you. Okay, now who else wants to perform a miracle tonight? Joy and Truly, how about you? What do you see? Would you take an instant to go outside and just look up? I'm sorry?
I did. I went outside. It just started to rain. It's just I can't see anything. Rain.
Okay, I got you. I follow you. But it will have you. You have moved stars for us before, haven't you?
I believe so. Yes.
Right. Well, you should feel good about that. Really feel good because the 144,000. You see, and during the time of the one you called Jesus or Yahshua, with 12 disciples, that eventually evolved into 120 disciples. And these men and women became Mashiites. Meaning they healed the sick, raised the dead, fed the hungry. They did all the things. You follow what I'm saying? They were called the sons and daughters of thunder. You know, so they were more powerful than your modern day X-Men. So I just want you to know that this is very real. And when you're going to defeat the devil while he's grabbing you behind the back and handcuffing and biting you naked and this, that, and the other, it's not going to be on a physical plane. This is domain until it passes away. You have to battle him on the battlefield of the soul in the spiritual realm because he can't reach there. And he's impotent, like a turtle on his back. You follow me? So it's not about us trying to get rid of the darkness and trying to get rid of all dark angels or the prince of darkness or the evil and what have you. We're not here. I'm not here to get rid of evil. I'm here to raise you up into the true light. To raise you up in vibrational frequency. And the earth is doing that. Don't get left behind. So write down Schumann resonance. You're a scientist, Joanne. Write down the Schumann resonance so you can Google that after class, the Schumann resonance. And you can see the whole earth is vibrating about 3 times faster than it was prior to 2012. And raising up in frequency. And everybody that's not raising up with her is going to be left behind. As the old earth, see, but they're trying to get you all involved in 5G when you should be involved in 5D, in the 5th dimension and above. You follow me? The devil is so cruel and obvious, right? It's not 5G, it's 5D that you should be concerned about. All right? Because nothing can rise above its source. If these are, they think that this, what do you call it, machines and computers and AI, artificial intelligence and what have you, let's look at this closely. Regardless of how sophisticated you think this technology is, was it created by some being, yes or no? Right? Yes. Okay. Yes. Then nothing can rise above its source. Right? You can't, there's nobody here greater than their parents. Potentially. You follow me? Nothing can rise above its source. You can't create something that's superior to you. That's deception. And I understand all the arguments, I understand, but the point is, nothing can rise above its source. Okay? Now, is there anybody else out here who's going to perform a miracle for us tonight? If not, let's go back to these tablets here. I had some sea beings, Sabians, as they call themselves now. But I identify them as sea beings. And if you look up Sabians, you find out that there's men of stature or giants in the earth, Nephilims, the fallen angels. And then you have to ask yourself, why would they name themselves fallen angels? Remember what Malachi said at the last after the fall. You Nuwabians are those fallen angels. All right? Now, I know all this is going contrary to what you want to believe. But it's time to put your red grass down and your coal fire and all. It's time to wake up to reality. Back to life, back to reality. Now, what was the last verse we were on? Okay, 191. Specifically, Enocytes must go through the energy grid controlling cell division on his biological level of organization before the larger electromagnetic change happens. Enocytes will also understand how new growth effects will be the result of electromedicine, which uses electromagnetism. Enocytes, by using the light surgery of electromagnetic penetration into bone marrow, will be able to create new bone growth. Your planet is no different than any other form of life that must renew itself. It is like an energy molecule going through renewal and being restored to a new existence. This is called the antrophy of Gaia. All of this must be understood that you may, through the ancient or mystic order of the sons of the green light, learn to raise your density level or vibrations, right? And stimulate your melanin to awaken dormant energies of divine, making it impossible for you to be enslaved mentally. This will help you create what is called psychic self-defense. Important be it, the distinction between the mark of the concealers of truth, that's the liars, and the mark of the faithful. The first be the human faithful, their mark be in their foreheads by striking their heads upon the ground in worship. I don't mean like the Mohammedans, as revealed to our servant Ahmed in the Quran, the 48th degree, 29th verse. All right? Now you can read on at your own pleasure, but I don't think any of you that's been with me have any doubt as to who I am and who sent me and why and what my purpose is. And my purpose is to reconnect you with your own purpose and make you remember who and what exactly you are, who you are, and what your mission is. Right? So your mission is to propagate and post this truth up everywhere and every media outlet and to transform yourself into spiritual beings. Right? So I hope that I put some light in those blind corners. Now let's open up the floor for questions. Who has that question?
I have one.
And I'll do my best.
Okay, now I know that you said that, well, I know we have a purpose as far as the 144,000, and then you were talking about the shams coming and stuff like that. So how would that affect, how would we know, like, you know, as far as us going where we're supposed to be going, as opposed to what you were saying as far as the vortex taking some of us and then, I guess, the shams coming to get others?
How would we know? How would you know it's happening to you?
No.
Because
how would you know? Okay. With that in, okay. With the sham coming for individuals intertwined with the vortex situation and the 144,000. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Okay, so the question is, the sham is really, okay, you want to go into it deeply? You see, if you go into the Holy Tablets, chapter 7, you can see a diagram of a man turning himself inside out into a craft. So the sham is actually you. You're a whole light being, and that's how you take flight, like on a Burak. Muhammad going up, or Ahmed, Muhammad, the same one, chapter 19, tablet 5. Ahmed is Muhammad, Muhammad is Jesus, and they're all the same one, right? By different names and different cultures at different times. The Son of the Most High. Now, you are this light vehicle, and the sham is like a crown that you wear on your head, right? So if we go to chapter, so when you turn yourself inside out, which you do every night, and you disconnect your physical illusory self through what you call sleep, the real you raises up in vibration and acts freely on that flesh, travels over the light cord of your spine, and it travels outside of your body, and you're like a genie free from the bottle again. You're traveling around free, and depending upon your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, you experience different realities, right? But you are this craft, these shafts that's coming for you. Now, I don't want to complicate things, but let's look at it like, because when I move stars, you all know that I'm doing it from my bedroom with my eyes closed in the dark, while all of you are outside and in Kenya, Africa, different places. Right, so what I'm doing is bringing a mind link. As the Son of the Most High, that's my proof right there that only all is in contact with all, right? So in order for me to see things through your eyes, regardless of where you are, then I'd have to be who I say I am. Heya, Asher, Heya. And I'm here to tell you that you are the same thing. There's nothing else you could be, except the Most High Creator. You're acting outside of the reality of you. You're projecting something that's completely false and out of character. There are no devils and reptiles and this and that and the other. It's what you choose to create. There are cherubims and seraphims, but cherubims are disagreeable, not evil. They're a polarity, like on your battery in your car, negative or positive. This evil with a D is something that's being created and generated that causes you to be cast down to this earth because you're not fit to be in any normal society. Because on the kayak commercial, they're telling you that they eat normals. You hear me, Martin Luther? They don't like normals. They only like sleek, clown, robot, dumb niggas. That's what they like. Flunky slaves that follow them blindly into hell, marching down into it, eyes wide shut. Now these shams that you're speaking about, go to chapter 7 of your, and I don't deal with holy tablets like that, but I'm dealing with, I was called to do that tonight. Go to chapter 7, and you can also see in these diagrams the man converting himself into a craft. That's diagram 104 for those of you that's on page 674 for those with the paperback holy tablet. Diagram 105, the human body turning itself into a ship. Key for Amun. And everybody that I rename again, part of their name is always Amun. So that when you're moving stars and performing miracles in the name of Amun, you're doing it in your own name. You see, there's a method to my madness, right? And it's not selfish motive. I'm going to explain to you about these shams real clear. And if you all want to know why I know where this stuff is, it's called Baina or Farkon. Given to messengers, they give them the ability to know the distinction between allegorical and decisive and how to intermarry the scriptures, right? Again, more evidence of exactly who I am and who sent me. Why is it important for you to know who I am so that you can trust what I say when I tell you who you are? It should be easy with proof. Chapter 7, Tablet 1. Make sure you follow along, Keith Amun. We're going to go, if you saw, back to page 653, verse 160. Let me know when you all are there. Are you there, Joanne? It's very important.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Chapter 7.
How about you?
What verse was it?
160.
Okay, I'm
Are
there.
you there in Texas?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. Keith Amun, are you there?
Okay, it was
Chapter 7.
Yeah, chapter 7, tablet 1.
Yeah, it's diagram 105. You can find that later. It's chapter 7, tablet 1, verse 160. Cheryl in London, you with us?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. The plane of divine truth, spiritual perfection and attainment. A plane exempt from all carnal desires, supreme spiritual bliss, is the level of consciousness, right? Which is the daily expression of those you call the ranks of angels, angelic beings, co-exotic priests, the 320 elders, Akashael, Alitiel, Azabuga, Bariel, Kemuel, Kiel, Galgaliel, Haniel, Uthiel, Jehuel, Madarin, Raguel, Quaterson, Radiariel, Roswell, Rikiel, Mahi, Tabael, Gannon, Suriel, Eupaphia, Zagzel, and Sanophon. The 4 and 20th seat is open to all the news bearers, and the 25th is the one of the 24 who takes the seat of overseer. So in the Patarak concentration, Malachi wrote the prayer of Amun in the back. And who do you say is the overseer of the heavens and the earth?
You are.
Amun.
That's right. Amun-Rayay is the overseer of the heavens and the earth. All right. Don't believe me, check it out. 171. And the 25th is the one of the 24 who takes the seat of overseer. As the 19th becomes the 25th, and the renewal of history would take place every equinox for 25,000 years, right? Nearest to the heart of Anu, Elul, most glorified and exalted, it is the school of the Anunnaki of the green light, where the ability to personify as 12 times 12, or 144. And it is here that one is translated from a mental state into that divine state. The mental plane is the plane of the chosen. Rejoice at the glad tidings. The chosen one, our master, has found the root of all evil. He has shown us the way of salvation. The chosen one dispels the illusions of our mind and redeems us from the fears of death. The chosen one, our master, brings comfort to the weary and sorrow laden. He restores peace to those who are broken down under the burden of this life. He gives courage to the weak when they were at times ready to give up self-reliance. And hope, the chosen one has proclaimed the truth. Let the truth of the chosen one dwell in your hearts. Extinguish in yourselves every desire that antagonizes the chosen one. And in the perfection of your spiritual growth, you will become likened to him. Those of you here which cannot or will not develop into the chosen one must perish. For it is the source of your error. It is the cause of your misery. Those who through flashes of intuitive elimination from a higher source and are able to perceive that which the ordinary human perceives not, star movers, the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being. We have 7 planes, 7 heavens inside of your body, and the 4th plane of Malachus, the Lord's breastplate, is in your chest, is above the bottom 3 and beneath the upper 3, the laryngeal seat, pineal gland, and the crown molar, right? So that's the midway plane of Malachus, right? The chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the Supreme Being, where all those of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek spiritually meet. In this class, we're not together in the physical room. We meet spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown. And you listen to hear the tassel bells of happiness sound. So those of you that went to ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, you had this outfit, you had a fez on. It was either red, which was Nasut, or Earth, the lowest vibration, carnal seat, or it was white, which was Malakut, the fourth plane, or like Malachi and I, it was black for Lahut, or the heavens, right? So now, follow me, Keith Amun, where they adorn their crimson crown. The crown is the sham. Remember what I told you? The most outstanding feature on the sham is the hole in the bottom. That's where you put your, it's like a hat, you put your head in that. And you listen to hear the tassel bell of happiness sound, where their heart is wrapped with the noble sash, a token of authority, dignity, power, honor, and reward. One is a symbol of glory and remembrance of their great path as they raise in height from degree to degree. 720 is what they will be. 360 master the physical, and all 360 opens the way to the spiritual hall, above. 7 and 20, ninth and ninth power of 9. At this point, you become Lord over space and time, knowing no depth and no height, raised from the darkness of ignorance to the intellectual light, endures all temptations when he is tried. A crown that is his own, sham. The jacket with the wings of an angel is worn. Thus you have your inner pyramid. Pyra means the fire, mid means the center. The nose on the face inhales the oxygen that ignites the sun in the middle of your chest, where the lotus breastplate rests. And the son of the Anunnaki, most glorified and exalted ones, Malakut, which is ruled by Malachi's reduct, plane of divine love, a compassion not yet comprehended by human beings, but will be, of which earthly love is only a reflection. A compassion that realizes not only the self, Martin, but expresses a compassion which can encompass all. I'd like to go further in this, and I will in another class. But to answer your question more thoroughly, Keith Amun, let's go back to verse 182. The chosen one, our master, brings comfort to the weary and sorrow laden. He restores peace to those who are broken down under the burden of this life. He gives courage to the weak when they were at times ready to give up self-reliance and hope. The chosen one has proclaimed the truth. Let the truth of the chosen one dwell in your hearts, extinguishing yourselves every desire that antagonizes the chosen one. Be careful. And in the perfection of your spiritual growth, you will become likened to him. Now, those of you here which cannot or will not develop into the chosen one must perish. For it is the source of your error. It is the cause of your misery. Those who, through flashes of intuitive illumination from a higher source, and are able to perceive that which the ordinary human perceives not, the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. And the people here with me, they always see me lit up. What did you see me the other night? What did you see around me?
While I was to him, all of a sudden I saw his bright white aura around his face and head. While we were talking, it was like 3 inches wide or something like that, flowing off the edges of his face and head.
Right. Okay. Now, one of the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all those angels squad of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown. So that's red. Those are the ones on Malakut, the mortals. When you look at the crown, it has 360 degrees circle at the bottom like the sham, which the part goes around your head. That's the physical 360 degrees. And then the top of the sham, there's a 360-degree top on it. That's Malika, or the higher 360 degrees. And when he says about the tassel bells of happiness sounding, when you have a bell that has that hole in the bottom just like the sham, there's a tassel that comes from it that gongs the bell inside with a stem on it. That's symbolic of you as a light being, Iraq, traveling across the cosmos as a ball of light with a tail behind it. That's the stem of the ball inside of the bell. That long tail is the stem of the... So Malachi put out a book one time, Mission Earth, where you saw a picture of a sham and a light being coming out the bottom of that hole with a stream of light behind him, or tail, a ball of light. That's you when you're traveling outside your body and the way people see you. And that's what makes it happy. The tassel bell of happiness rings when you come out of that physical bell or out of that sham, out of that body. And the sham, like Nibiru, is an ascension craft. It's not just purely metal and jewels. It's also a living soul. I wanted you to also know that. Like when I was on board Nibiru the last time in remembrance, conscious memory, when I saw my mother about 30 years ago, looking real young, refreshed on that medical facility, and the black nurse turned with a white uniform. I couldn't see her face. But next to me, sitting where I was, next to a window, in the dark, there was this being sitting next to me, insectoid, or it looked like he had an exoskeleton, was black, and I was explaining about Nibiru and how it was made, what have you, and he was sitting next to me in the dark with his hand going up and down saying, yeah. But then when I started focusing on looking at him real good, that he wasn't human, I woke back up in bed, right? But I suggest that you all start watching Ancient Aliens, and you're going to find out every channel you turn on got extraterrestrials and UFOs, because it's breaking through the reality. Okay, now we're going to read this again, Keefer, and see if it becomes clear to you. 195. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all of those of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown. Now the jewels on the front, and the jewels on the bureau. And as far as this stem that's inside of the tassel inside of the bell, that's that ball on top of the fez, and the streamers that hang down on that tassel. That's the tail behind the comet-like ball. So when you look at the fez, you had a little knot on a ball on the top. That was you as a spiritual ball of light. And the streamers were the tail behind you as you moved across the sky. Are you following me? Let's do it again, 195. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all those of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown, and you listen to hear the tassel bell of happiness sound, right? Where your heart is wrapped with a noble sash. That's that sash you had 360 degrees. A token of authority, dignity, power, honor, and reward. One is a symbol of glory. Those of you that overcome, and remembrance of their great past. It was rough sometimes, right? As they raise in height from degree to degree, 720 is what they will be. 360 masters the physical, that's the bottom ring of the fez, and all 360 opens the way to the spiritual hall, the 360 at the top, opens the way, etheric core, to the spiritual hall, 7 and 29 to the ninth power of 9. At this point, you become Lord over space and time, knowing no depth and no height, raised from the darkness of ignorance to the intellectual light, endures all temptations when he is tried. A crown, that's the sham, that is his own. The jacket with the wings of an angel is worn, right? So I know these stars appear to be out there, Keeper, and I know the shams do too, but everything is in you. I'm in all and what?
All is in you.
It is. All is in you. Believe me, but becoming so conditioned to repetitive assertion that this is real, fixed and valid, you become totally under the spellbind, thinking that this is reality. But the greater reality is inside of you. This is just a small little tight, like a genie in a bottle. For example, when you look around right now with your physical eyes, your vision is restricted to the room you're in, to the walls, floors, and ceiling. But when you close them and use your spiritual eye or third eye, you can see your car parked outside, your job, your children in another state. You can see the stars in the heavens, and you can see everything, because that's where you can see your mother inside of there. You can see yourself on the playground in school. You can see all of these things are inside of you. You know, when you close your eyes, you see that darkness. That's the multiverses, or the void and darkness extended with the face of the deep. But when you create images with your imagination, first word and image and imagination is image. When you create these images, these stars and people, when you close your eyes, they appear in there. You can see the sun right now in the dark if you want to, right? It's inside of your mind. You were the one that said, let there be light. In the beginning, Fed Lux, as said in Latin, some of you know, Saber Noah, light. And right now, if you would all perform this exercise, then close your eyes. Now you see that darkness. I want you to imagine and visualize the brightest sun that you've ever seen. You know, like an example, you drive in your vehicle, you turn a corner, and that sun hits you in the eye, and it hurts. It's so bright you have to pull the visor down so that you won't lose the line in the highway. You've seen that bright sun. You can see that bright sun right now if you want to, can't you? Honestly. Yeah. All right. Now, let me ask you, Joanne, when you see that bright sun, who's creating that? Bring it, because it's pitch dark in your mind. Who brought that light from out of the darkness just right then, Joanne?
You.
I did. The real me. And
that's exactly right. Yeah. So they lying to you. This God you're looking for is, guess who it is, Joanne?
It's me.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And the God of the Creator. Mm-hmm. Don't let that devil trick you into creating devils in hell. Do you understand me?
Right. But what about,
right.
Okay,
when you
but what about what it says, what we just read, that they are coming to get, so are we to negate that there are beings that are our ancestors or descendants or however the matter?
Exactly.
Right.
But you're creating.
To get us.
Okay, I understand the question, but see what you are. Before you were spirit, you are pure consciousness. Are you following me?
Right.
And I tried to show you that when you close your eyes to see that blackness, when you imagine stars and people, such as your mother and friends on the playground or children, then they appear in your mind. You can see them, can't you? Like the sun.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But these things don't really exist. They're all in you creating that. Are you following me?
Right.
Now you're getting into some serious stuff, right? You're getting into a serious area. But in order to answer your question, I have to approach it that way. From the highest levels of the question. You follow me?
Right. But I've never seen...
So these people, that's right. So your question, what I'm saying is that the shams and the beings that pilot them are real. But
right.
they're only characters in a story that you wrote. They're only characters in a story that you wrote. Remember I told these extraterrestrial beings are who? You in the future. Now you might say, well, how do I see the future if it's non-existent? Well, you've had dreams, Joanne, and they were vivid. And then 2 weeks later, something played out in your life, and it was the exact same thing you dreamed about 2 weeks ago. You tell a person, see, I saw this in my dream 2 weeks ago. Isn't that right?
Right.
Okay. My question is to you.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Right, then how will you remember in the future? So there's somebody in you so great and dynamic that he can see the past or the future through the walls, and there's a God inside of you, right? There's a Lord over space and what? A Lord over space and time.
Along with it.
You hear me, Joanne?
I hear you, yes.
And just like you created the sun, you can spell it S-U-N or how?
S-O-N.
You created both. Don't you see that? But people are afraid of this and they don't want to take responsibility. They want to be like little kids sitting on Santa Claus' knee, tell him I want this and I want it's not. No. You're going to stop and walk with me. I'm not going to carry you like that. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Move them stars, sister.
When
Heal yourself, physician. Say it again.
When you said I see like my mother, and I can, but that's from memory. That's from conscious. I don't know how.
I follow you. I know, but I'm trying to tell you that you have seen people in your dreams that you don't remember in your present reality, right?
Right. That's true.
Many of those beings are from your future and you haven't met them yet. Or you dreamed about a person and then later on in life you ran across them and you thought, I remember that person, I think, from a dream, right? Or you forget from where. You just don't know where but you don't remember meeting them physically. So evidently you met them in the spiritual realm. My point is that I'm in all and all is in me. That means inside the house, outside the house, in the past or the future, all is all, Joanne. And that's what you really are. It's frightening, and it's hard to wrap your mind around because they try to make you think that you're inside of creation in some kind of way and something above you created you. When the reality is that you just turn yourself inside out and reconnect with the reality of who and what you really are, and you are this God that you want to worship and seek for. You follow me?
No, well, I'm a part of it. I'm not the God, because I didn't create the universe, so I can't. And the sun's
well, you created your own. What I'm saying, okay, step up now. What I'm saying is that you are the center of your own universe, and you created it, and all things are equal distance from you. I understand the concept. What you're saying is that all these brothers and sisters here are also gods, so they can't be the one.
Right.
But you are the one in your universe. Meaning let me try to show you, like, if I give you a big giant beach ball that's white, right?
Right.
And then I give you a black marker, and I say, Joanne, put a dot on that ball, it'll represent you. When you do that, isn't that black dot the center of that white ball regardless where you put it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if you give the sisters and brothers a black marker and they all put dots on the ball, isn't it a fact that their black dot is the center of that same ball regardless of where they put it? To them, from their perspective.
That's
right. So you're all the God, and still I hear what you're saying. We're all part of all, but as a collective, that's what we are. In other words, what we are is consciousness, divine love. And one day it shifted. It shifted one day. And when it did, it stopped. And that point was the point that we all were imprinted from. Are you following me?
Yes.
And the consciousness, it converted from thought into energy. And the energy spiraled down or falls down into what you call forms. First it was the thought that created the energy that shaped the form of the matter, right?
Right.
That you call Joanne in the mirror or your son or people you see or the sun in the sky. So what I'm saying is that when you're sitting at home with a friend in your living room and y'all having a pleasant conversation, it's 72 degrees, everything is well, then your friend gets up to go get a drink or something, and while they're gone to the bathroom, whatever, they get back, you start thinking about this person that abused you at work or in a relationship, and no matter how hard you try not to keep getting mad, right? But the more you try not to think about it, what happens?
You're angry.
The more you think about it, you become consumed with it, right?
Right, yeah.
And pretty soon these thoughts create energy in the form of heat, right? And they come back, your heart is palpitating, you breathe a little heavy, you got a little perspiration on your forehead and under your arm, and they say, Joanne, what's the matter with you? nothing. I'm sorry. But what it is you really consumed with the thought of this creature that done did this to you. You follow what I mean? And you got physical. You're you're in a medical field, so you know what I mean. Your heart rate goes up, your core temperature, right? You know what I mean, right? There's physical heat being created. So those thoughts are creating energy, right?
Right.
In the form of heat. Well, that means thought and energy are interchangeable, doesn't it? Mathematically, you know what I mean, right?
Thought and right, yeah.
Right. But let's look at matter. So if you have a cigarette, the most negative example, it's a solid by your definition now. But when you light it, the heat and fire are two forms of what? The light and heat are two forms of what?
Energy.
Exactly. So as it burns, you're converting the matter into energy, right?
Yes.
So that means matter and energy are also what? Interchangeable, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So if matter and energy are interchangeable and thought and energy are interchangeable, now you see how you say to a thing, be and it is? You create the cigarette, do you see that? It comes from the thought.
Right. But I can't just say, if I want an orange right now, be and it is, and one appears in my hand, so...
Okay, and I understand that right now. And the reason you can't is because what you said is that you can't. You hear me, Star Mover?
Yeah.
Because you're limited, you're constrained by your perception of what reality is. And right now you still hold on or cling to the belief that you're that physical body and you're trapped inside the mud of your flesh and in that room, etc. And as a mortal being, you can't do things that gods do, right? Like make an orange appear or the stars move, right? You follow me?
Yes, I follow you.
But now, Beach Ball, that you know you're God, we both know there's nothing you can't do, right? All can, you can, right? But you have to believe that you can. What did Jesus tell people that wanted him to heal? He would first ask, do you believe that I can do this thing, right? And when they replied in the affirmative, yes, I believe, he would say that by your own faith may you be made whole, right?
Right.
He was only revealing to them their own potential. You follow me?
Right. I understand, yes.
Right. But it's all you, son. I don't care if it's S-U-N or S-O-N. It's all you. These are characters in a story, Joanne, that you wrote. Be clear about what you are. You are an enigma. You are not that thing you see in the mirror. That's something you projected and created in your imagination, an image. If that body is sitting down, you look around your room, you can see a chair that's vacant around there. You can sit in if you wanted to, right?
Yes.
Well, imagine that I could take your soul and put in that chair, your spirit, your imagination, your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, and your feelings. If I put all that in that other chair, what would be left here on the phone with us?
Just about an empty shell.
Nothing.
Just
a fungus that would break down because that light is the amalgam of the glue that holds the tachyon force that holds that together, right?
Right.
So that would be nothing, just an empty vessel that would break down soon, right?
Right.
Because the body can't live without the spirit, but the spirit can live without the body. That's right. So the body is nothing. But they're trying to convince you it's everything. Okay. So now let's look at the real you. What constitutes Joanne? Your thoughts, your imagination, your spirit, your soul, your etheric aspect, your mind, your memory, your feelings. That's really what you are, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me. Right. That is true.
That's really you. Okay, but now let's look over in that chair, and I want you to describe yourself to me. What do you look like? How much do you weigh? Look at her. Is it a her?
I assume
Or
so.
something undefined. You can't see it, right?
No.
Well, this God that you've been raised to believe in, can you see him?
No.
That's right. So, since you're God, why would you be able to see yourself?
Okay. Well, I can see the manifestations of God, of the Creator.
Exactly.
That's all I.
Well, let me ask you this: do you believe in love and hate?
Love and hate, yes.
Yeah. Okay. But can you just take a pencil and pen?
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But can you draw a picture of them?
No.
Right. So they're not part of this realm, but they are real, like God. Let me take us back to a scripture in the Bible where it says, "Faith or belief is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things yet unseen." Through faith, we understand that the worlds, meaning the sun, moon, and stars, and your hand on the phone, were formed by the word of God. That was you. That central thing being it is, from thought to cigarette. So that things that are seen, such as your hand on the phone, the sun and the sky, and the cigarette, were not made by things which do appear, meaning you can't see yourself in the chair, right?
Right.
All right, let's go through it slowly. Faith is the substance of the cigarette. Faith is the substance of things yet unseen, right? So you imagine one day having a child or a car, and after you thought about it, with your imagination, you brought these images into being so that you really have that car parked out there, right?
Right.
You thought it was made out of metal and rubber, didn't you? But it was made out of your thought. Faith is the substance. If you believe it, with enough faith, you can make a tree get up and walk, or a mountain. If you believe, then it's so, because you're God. So faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things right then that are yet unseen, right? Because you didn't think your son and car didn't exist until you brought them into being. You brought them out of your mind into a cigarette, right?
Yes.
Okay, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things yet unseen. Now let's take it further. Through faith or belief, we understand that the worlds, the sun, moon, and stars, and your body were formed by the word of God. That was you. Central thing being it is. You hear me, cigarette? So the things that are seen, such as the cigarette, your son, the car, you, the stars in the sky, were not made by things which do appear. See? Through faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things at that point that are yet unseen until they appear. Now, through faith or belief, we understand now that the things that are seen were not made by things which do appear. You can see the creation, but you can't see the creator. So if you go outside and the sky is clear and you see a star and I ask you to move it, or you see the moon up there and I say, can you point to it, Joanne, and say, there's the moon or the star, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, but that was created. We understand that, right?
Right.
All right, but if I ask you to point to the creator, can you say, there he is over there, or there he is over there?
No, I cannot. I can only, you
you can't see yourself in a chair.
Yeah.
Right, you can't see the creator, but you can see the creation, right?
Right.
That's what you meant by evidence of it, or however you worded it, right? That's how you know love and hate is real, by experience through manifestation through experience, right?
Right.
That's the way that you know. I was with you all the time. Did you know that? I understood. I made a mind of God. I understood exactly what you were saying. When I say I understand the question. Okay. Now my question to you is which is realist in your mind? The creation or the creator of it?
Which is realist in my mind, the creation or the creator
of it? Yeah, the
creation
or the creator of it. Nothing can rise above its source. Don't confuse yourself. Exactly. That's the truth. It'll set you free. But you know what you just established for yourself and broke the spell? You just confirmed that the unseen is realer than the seen, Joanne.
Right, yes.
That's right. You see how the confusion is breaking, the fog is lifting, you see?
Yes,
We got through, and we're breaking ice now. You see, we're getting somewhere.
Right.
You see, that's called a breakthrough. You got me? It's a big one.
Right.
So you know now that you're God and you're the creator, but the part of you that's God you can't see, Chair, right?
Right.
Further evidence is you have 2 eyes and 2 ears and a nose, and they're centrally located on your face, and that's how you confirm this creation that you call reality. Through what you see, hear, feel, smell, taste, and touch, right? Centrally located on your face, right? Your senses, right?
Right. Senses, yes.
But they're not really real, Cigarette. They're just characters in a story you created, right? Because you have an inner vision and an inner hearing, so when you close your eyes, you can still see much more than you can with your eyes open, right?
Right.
You can see anything you can imagine.
I can.
Son.
But
right.
Okay. Well.
So you can imagine anything. So you can create. So what's the limit to what you can create?
It's infinite.
The limit of your imagination, and the broader your consciousness becomes, the more you can create. So there is no limit, is there?
There is no limit.
Joanne, you can do anything except one thing. You can't become less and still be all. And the devil is doing that to get you to fall 5G instead of 5D. You hear me?
Yes.
But the truth is that the devil is just negative thoughts that personified and putting on shoes and clothes and confronting you and challenging you. Your own negative thoughts are attacking you. You follow me?
Yeah, I believe that. Yes.
Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. I hope the young brother is here to ask the first question. So if you're in the room as a child...
I'm right here.
Yeah, okay. So if you're in the room as a child and there's a thunder and lightning storm, and you get scared because you imagine when the lightning flashes that you see a man standing with a coat on with an axe in his hand, and you pull your head under the covers as a child scared in the dark room, right?
Right.
You create that monster with your imagination, you see. But as an adult right now that's reaching the higher consciousness now, finding your normal consciousness level, you realize on retrospect that there was nobody in the room except you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So who was it trying to frighten you? Who was it trying to frighten you? Your own lower self.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will argue, I'm not a devil trying to destroy myself. Would they say that? He's crazy. I'm not a devil trying to. You think I'm doing this to myself? Yes, I do. So you know educated people that smoke cigarettes, don't you, Joanne?
What's that?
You know educated people that smoke cigarettes, don't you?
Right, I do, yes.
Okay. But they're educated enough to know that smoking, inhaling that smoke is a coffin nail every time. In other words, they're slowly killing themselves, right?
Right.
Every time they puffing and dragging, that dragon is the devil, the fallen angel. You got to fight against the dragon in his name. They puffing and dragging, right? So what I'm saying is that, but they saying to you that they would never do anything to destroy or hurt themselves, right?
Right, right.
Now that you look at it, do you believe that statement?
No. I don't.
You see the paradox of us now, Joanne? Do you see the paradox of us? Don't get scared because of where we're going. I want you to take responsibility. Do you see the paradox of us?
Paradox of us?
I'm saying the good and evil, both of which we omit.
Yeah, I do.
So you can be God, but you can drop down to the devil in your lower vibratory thoughts and attack yourself, right, in many forms.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's smoking hot right there, but that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the truth.
But I'll
That
tell
is
you how
true.
the truth will make you free. With that knowledge, and you know it, that you're creating the good and the evil, then who has the power to alleviate the evil and think only good?
I do.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when they say you create your own heaven and hell, what does that mean? Is that a true statement?
Yeah, that's true.
That's exactly right. And doesn't it feel good, even if you don't feel fully in control, you can see the pathway to it now, can't you?
Yes.
Well, if you've been lifted to that level of consciousness, I feel like I've done my job. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah, I would agree.
For one night, anyway. Now, you tell me why it is that people are not flocking to us in droves, Joanne.
Well, I guess
because they're under that spell, aren't they?
They're under the spell, and they just don't want to face reality. You know, I mean, when I say reality, I mean
they don't want to take responsibility.
Right.
They want to go back to sitting on Santa's knee, and they want, you follow what I mean?
Right.
But until they take responsibility, they will never have the ability to respond. Am I right?
Yes, that's true.
Well, I say that with a teardrop and a smile. I feel the hurt, but I'm happy because you see the light. You follow?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we all the way there. We have a lot of work to do, but you've accomplished a lot tonight, family. Do you hear me? All of you. Do you hear me?
Yes.
You've accomplished a lot. And aren't you proud to know that when you were a child, you were asked what you want to be, a little boy, little girl, when you grow up, a nurse and a fireman, all this? The truth is, if you could be anything, you want to say, I want to be God, but you would have got backhanded, right? Blasphemy.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But now climb up on your own intellect and take the mask off God and be really happy because it is you. I am Amun-Rayay, the real Messiah, and I will send you as your servant. Support what we do. Be an integral part of it. Never leave it and put your all into it. We are one. Amun-Rayay. Stay close. Walk with me. The final vortex is near.